한다.
난 예쁘다고 얘기하지. 그럼 예쁘다는 거는? 아니지.
가자. 가자. 야.
그냥 콩만 넣고 꽂으면은
Trying to think, but I can't when you're looking at me. Racking my brain for a way to tell you I'm so sorry. I wasn't ready, but I lost it when you let me look into your heart. Now I'm falling fast, and I'm falling hard. So I'll give you my world if you'll make it turn. And I'll give you these words if you don't let them burn. I'll give you my love if you'll make it sweet. And I'll give you my heart if you'll make it beat. Trying to search for the truth, girl, how do you feel? You checking in for the weekend, or you gonna settle down here? 'Cause I've been broken when I left my heart open for you.
너무나다 대박이다.
그래서 좋은데 양육을 해보지 않으셨습니까? 저의 아이를 보는 거에 대해서는 미숙하다고 표현해도 되나?
그죠, 네.
안 해보셨으니까 그거에 대해서는
그쵸.
안 봤어요. 그치?
Every moment with me really all that bad? I wait up for the phone to ring. The far away gives you pleasure, and that you're happy in foreign weather. I hope that Hollywood treats you better than I ever could. Well, I know you're trying to find your feet, and that your heart is across the sea.
너무 비싼데 근데? 크기에 비해 나 지금 놀랐어. 뭐지?
예쁘게 나와.
Hollywood's everything that I'll ever be. I know you're trying to find your feet, and that your heart is across the sea. But I hope that Hollywood gives you something that I never will. And I hope that Hollywood treats you better